4 matchups like that, and it wasn't there. The Nocturne never punished this Leona flashing forward. It never punished this Varus with no flash on bottom side. Yep. And RNG absolutely crumbled there.
We'll see if they can stand for this one now, and if the picks and bans change much, Xayah still removed from the table, even though, again, we saw SKT not go for the champion in the previous game of this series. Janna still off the table, though. SKT just removing the hyper-safe support picks. Looks like that bot lane style will continue for SKT.
My read on this is that RNG are looking to first pick a jungler because they don't want to take one half of Xayah or Rakan, which are kind of priced in to do, and not give it away as a duo. So I think Jarvan was a very likely first pick for them if available.
The Sejuani worked for them in the previous one, but certainly you're right, Jarvan could make a lot of sense. There's the Gragas ban, and we know those top 3 junglers are going to be available now. Again, the Sejuani, the Jarvan, Gragas off the table, of course, as we mentioned.
Tristana and Galio as well, so many of the same power picks rotating and floating around here. This time it is going to be RNG first to the grab bag here, and we'll see if they, again, make the same prioritization and just let the Galio go back over to SKT.
Galio, Sejuani are the 2 left available here. Galio with no Janna available, I think, jumps up even further in priority. We know RNG can play it. So far, they've really been focused on the Sejuani for MLXG, and they go there again.
Especially since the Gragas is also banned here, you're going to go even further down the tier list. Yes, you know, Sejuani is good to get into Gragas anyways, but you really have to wonder if Blank is going to play something like Zac again, or will he make one of those other swaps over to the Rex sides?
This is basically the same pick ban as game 1, the only major difference being Lulu was banned by SKT instead of the Janna now in this one, but if it repeats itself, it's Lulu Twitch instead of Janna Twitch in this one, which last time around was answered by a Blitzcrank, assuming the Twitch does finish being locked in here, but that seems incredibly likely for Bang.
I think your read on a mid-game focused jungler to complement with the Galio is right. I'd love to see Blank's Lee Sin, as in 2017 we started with Peanut Lee Sin, undefeated Peanut the Lee Sin god. Blank was actually a lot more effective on the pick as the year went on, and given that the pool is dwindling, it's an option for Blank, who's been very focused. We looked at the picks for both junglers. It was basically Sejuani, Gragas, or Jarvan, and none of those 3 are available.
Especially with the fact that Faker once again gets Galio. Mid and jungle is how you control the early game. And if you combine a Galio, a Faker Galio, who has been shoving the wave and roaming from level 2 all the way till he gets his ultimate, with something like you talking about, Papa Smithy, with the aggressive pick for Blank, that could very well be SK Telecom with a dominating early game.
Now their game could certainly be good. Tarek not the most significant bot laner so far. Tristana has been really good so far, but wow, Vayne coming through again in Uzi. They've dropped 1 game this series at 1-1. They decide to go somewhere else. Gonna leave the Twitch on the table, and immediately again, it's Zac, the priority jungler now for Blank.
Really interesting stuff going for the very early Vayne here. The bot lane focus will be the same, but SKT opt back into the Zac, hoping to avoid the pitfalls of Game 1's early game.
Let me tell you though, it is hard to hit a Vayne if you are a Zac player and the Vayne has eyeballs, because
and a mouse. Can confirm, has eyeballs.
The Shadow's gonna appear, and Uzi should be able to get his way out. So it's gonna take multiple points of pressure for SKT to really force Huni, or force Uzi into an area where they can actually pin him down. You know, so that may be one of the reasons for this Vayne pick. It is that short-range champion and doesn't provide great sieging for pressuring that game, but it is very mobile for the team fights, which RNG have focused on and are doing so once again.
The only thing to watch for are the instant tagging things in team fights. If Uzi's in auto attack range, Faker is always in W flash range. If Uzi's in auto attack range, Blank can Q anything and then flash auto Uzi and he'll pull him back in. There are tools to immediately and uncounterably pull that Vayne back in, so it's going to be tight to get around this.
And I want to zoom in on pick ban where we're at now, because we're looking for SKT to add a support and a top laner. SKT had to invest last pick on red side multiple games in a row against Misfits to counterpick support. The Braum, the Tahm Kench that won them so many advantages. They can counterpick support at this pick and counterpick top lane, and it potentially really set up their draft. They're just going to go for Lulu, so hitting the tier list, getting another knock up to potentially hit onto the Vayne in the Lulu.
And that's really the funny thing is we've seen so much priority on Lulu. She's a great defensive support, but you're right, she's also a great enabler for the front line. If Zach lands something, then Lulu lands her open for free as well.
Someone's going to land something, surely.
It's almost a guarantee at this point, and so it still allows Wolf to play the aggressor. Of course, yes, we're going to see Ardent Sensor, we're going to see all that fun stuff as well, but certainly it does allow them to keep playing that hyper-aggressive style in fights.
And you talk about ranges here, Freak. If Uzi's getting in there for auto attacks on Vayne, you can save your Polymorph for that Vayne, and that's a targeted ability, which then makes the chaining much easier. As we talked about, the setup is going to be very important for this.
Some of the matchups we've criticized in previous games, Ryze into Galio, for example, has been on the losing end multiple times in this tournament. RNG have a very robust team fighting setup, but again, SKT will be looking just like game 1 and 2 to play through the early game. Maokai here is also susceptible. There's a lot of picks you can take into it, and the Camille is a decent one for sure.
The Camille won before. The only thing I want to maybe caution is SKT are on somewhat of a one-threat team. Again, Camille can certainly deal damage, and obviously they won with Varus Camille in the previous game. Tristana probably even higher top-end damage, so it's worked from before. They can certainly do it again, but Fig continues to be on tanks. Seems to be okay for them. And
they do also have this combination of the Hextech Ultimatum and the Hero's Entrance from Galio to guarantee an initiation on one member. That member is Uzi, to be clear. No way to cancel that out when you get enough duration on the ultimate as you get levels on the Hextech Ultimatum. So even though Split Push Camille is the first order of business, the backup team fighting is there with this particular solo lane duo.
This will be a fun game to watch. The styles continue to evolve, and we keep seeing what these teams think they want to bring out. What's the optimal strategy to go against these players? You have to imagine SKT have not scrimmaged against Vayne much, if at all, in the last several months. And
I mean, she's been popping up so frequently in this tournament.
Three picks?
I actually think, yeah, that to me, for range, that is players. Significant.
That's fair. Well, either way, if they're ready, they're ready. It's going to be fun to watch for. I don't think many people really expected Vayne coming in, but you're right. If they suddenly saw it and started preparing, then all good to them on this one. Coaches shake hands for one more time. Game 3 about to begin. Who's going to be on match point after this one?
That's the great thing about this tournament here, Free, because you say, what should you expect? Should you be expecting a Nocturne jungle? Should you be expecting Vayne picks like that?
Leona Blitz?
Should you be expecting Fervor Leona?
No.
Well, yes, you should. I think that at this point, you should.
All right, well, styles continue to evolve and push forward. We'll see what comes out of this one as Game 3 is ready to go. Tied 1-1. RNG and SKT both took reasonably convincing turns winning. And we'll see what comes out of this one. Ryze, Vayne, not a lot of range on this squad, but certainly damage output is there if they don't get stopped.
And you're talking about getting stopped. My big worry here for the RNG draft is that predictably, Ryze is going to be pushed in. The Vayne lane is going to be pushed in. Camille has some decent trading options in the early game against the Maokai. This really does feel like the sort of game where if one turret goes down, say bot turret goes down, Berserker's Greaves and BF's Sword Tristana starts rotating, RNG don't have a lot of options to actually get to the late game 5v5 fights they dream of. It was MLXG unlocking that potential with great pathing, with innovation in game 1. I actually think MLXG needs to have a performance on that level. Otherwise, it's pretty straightforward what SKT are going to try to do.
Yeah, MLXG and again, Xiaohu, the mid laner here. I have grown an irrational hate for Ryze at this tournament.
A lot of people have.
I really have not enjoyed watching this champion. But if he can make some skirmishing happen on his 1 items, on his 2 item power spikes, and really show me the light, then I'm still open to being converted to the school where all the mid laners have still really preferred Ryze, and they really want to make use of the creative ultimates are always fun to see, but I do need to see some of the skirmishing in the mid game come through.
And I feel like we've had very clear reads on what the good Ryze situations look like. Remember when it was Jarvan Ryze from SKT against the mid lane Karma with TP. You can understand that playing through that lane is possible. Those sort of ganks, say the Rek'Sai Ryze or the Sejuani Ryze onto the Galio, that's the part where you're like, wait, we don't really have early game options. He's immensely tanky from level 2.
Very early on in the game, MLXG looks like a solid 7 seconds faster in his clears so far. Red buff picked up by both. Blank should go for different camps though, grabbing the Raptors himself as MLXG goes for the Wolves in the buff.
And once again, I think MLXG here on the Sejuani has the option to go for that level 3 gank, Maokai and Sejuani can combo very well in the early game with the amount of crowd control and base damages. It's actually fairly threatening as a 2 versus 2. So Huni, he was the victim of that last time around on Gangplank, and he should be very, very well aware and ready, for any type of top lane focus.
And if there is the top lane camp, which is certainly still possible with the targeted route coming through from the Maokai, notice that in bot lane, the execution-heavy combination with the Blitzcrank is not there this time. Tristana, Lulu are very straightforward in getting turret damage and not being interested in playmaking, so the reliability of answering top lane pressure with just turret pressure in bot is very straightforward.
The mid lane, Faker gonna not take a knockup, but will get rooted up. Bit of damage coming across, goes back to the knockup, but he's not in turret range, but Faker still really liking this trade. No permafrost quite coming through. One more auto could have meant a chunk of damage. Now, where is the jungler? Yeah,
exactly. When a mid laner plays like that, you have to think Faker's got Blank right behind him in his back pocket because it is a Zac. Even early in the game, they're thinking, oh, maybe he's coming over with an elastic slingshot, but Faker's just going for that return trade to get some health off the jungler and kind of reduce his threat.
Nice trinket ward. All right, they see each other. They both know what's going on. And looks like no harm, no foul. They walk right back out of this one. The flash forward. He's going for the big play. One more attack. Xiaohu heals. One more head first. Out of the mid lane. And it's an execute because there is no damage dealt. Worth it in all chat.
I'm not sure if that's going to be what I was looking for to convert me to the Church of Rise.
I believe.
But he definitely pulled out a huge play. A solo kill onto Faker on the world stage.
And the Dazzle flash in the bot lane. They're targeting Wolf. Condemn is here with the TPs to join. And that is Faker completing it to meet into the bot lane.
So they had Zac pushing in mid lane. Bang and Wolf had the option of taking a back here or just controlling the wave again. So no cost there. They don't lose minions in mid.
Ooh, that was a bit close now. MLXG takes some damage box away. He hasn't backed yet, so it shouldn't be much of an issue, but is starting to get out-farmed by Blank, who's a full level ahead right now.
Faker a bit perturbed after the mid-lane incident here. He's coming for his Raptor camp now.
Good smite, actually. Blank grabs that one. The stun could be landing. The taunt in there as well. And not quite the damage kill on Blank, but now with the jump, they have this one. Huni might TP to save him. Will they do it? Television is popped, running out of health, and who's going to get the kill on this one? Xiaohu, 300 gold richer with a blue buff.
MLXG holding on to the permafrost till he was channeling his E, meant no way out, even with flash for Blank. The cheers start in the crowd. Nice skirmishing from RNG.
The full Chinese crowd behind Xiaohu right now. He flashes in, then he gets the heal move speed. All he wanted was one last spell. And since Faker never got any return damage off,
what? Was it on me? Oh, man.
See the second kill as well. Hunting off those enough mana for Faker to throw out a Q before. But the moment that Blank had his E interrupted, no passage safely out.
Flashed anyway.
They had pressure on top side. There was no way that the Camille would change this fight. So right decision not to teleport in, but a misfought fight by Blank.
You could almost feel the frustration from SK Telecom there on that jungle invade. And RNG able to punish them again. If any game was the game for Rise to have a huge impact, 2 early kills here now for Xiaohu. See if he's going to get to his level 6 extremely quickly. Maybe he can start affecting the side lanes as well even.
See if he can get that move down. Right now it's only a 500 gold difference though. 400 for the first blood, unreturned, and 450 for the assisted kill means it is better farm at SKT so far. Plus 12 in the bot lane right now for Bang. And the jungle, I think, is a little bit different as well if you don't count the MLXG assist. Here comes that first attempt at a roam. Level 6 on the rise, but Tarek is already recalled, so you expect not to see much down here just yet.
SKT just going to be focused on the bot lane turret. Faker will have level 6 soon. Note that while Rise picked up 2 kills, no one is shut down like Huni was in game 1. So while the early kills and the early disruption advantage does go the way of RNG, it's not at the cost of the base game plan of push, push, push in the bot lane.
Yeah, don't let the mid lane antics distract you from how bad of a matchup Vayne Tarek into Tristana Lulu is. And Wolf and Bang are definitely taking their toll. You see them whittling down this turret. This is such a big issue because there is obviously going to be an Ardent Sensor, built early on Wolf, but also Tristana is one of the best AD carries at making that BF sword swap after the bottom lane turret is destroyed up into the top lane. So this bottom lane toll is actually paid by the entire team in attacks later on in the game once the switching comes through.
I mean, all RNG want is a 15-minute laning phase, a Rage Blade and Ardent Sensor, the turret's still up. That's winning the lane for Vayne Taric, but it's so unlikely with Galio in the mid lane, with push pressure and roam pressure. Some damage coming in from Xiaohu, but the kill pressure's going away. SKT's gameplay is so reliable.
Yeah, you say that's all they want, but that's a lot to ask for. Here comes Blank though, mid lane.
The taunt hit confirms the knock. This could be enough damage. Let's Bounce brings him right into the turn. The knockback there as well. Perfect coordination for the SKT duo, and a kill comes through to Blank.
Lane gank from Zac, and that's a big one that gets them rolling. They can roam bot lane, although Faker is out of mana. You're right, Kobe. It is a lot to ask for. The laning phase may be over pre-10 minutes. Blank goes for a little bit of a bomb into the mid lane.
The damage back and forth, not a huge issue, but you're seeing now SKT suddenly 400 gold up in this game. The bot lane still not able to get much. Yeah, Dazzle's cute, but doesn't do that very much here. Now Blank looks for some deep pressure. Says, never mind, I'll just put a word down.
Yeah, one of the things that you always look for as a jungler, after a successful gank, especially on something like mid lane, when you push the minion wave in, it becomes a choice for the enemy jungler. Either they're going to have to go soak up that minion wave and reveal themselves on the map, thus giving up pressure in their jungle, or, you know, they lose out on the minion wave completely and they try and keep themselves out of your vision. But SK Telecom, because the choice was made by MLG to go soak up those minions, takes the opportunity to get deep wards on both sides of RNG's jungle because of the success in mid lane.
And the ward on the blue buff is so important because the longer it is there, you know Sejuani is bot side, because her first job, if she goes to the top side of her jungle, is to get the blue buff for Ryze and help the Ryze push in against the Galio, at least match the wave clear. So the longer that buff stays up, the pathing is pretty straightforward for SKT to dissect.
Looking at the blue buff right now on both these sides. The junglers here, the mid lane is coming by as well. Xiaohu right now has the inside track, looking for this play as Classic slingshots right back out. No vision right here. It's not the brush, but a nice smite. MLXG combos it well. But now Faker sees Xiaohu, gets the knockup, trades in a bit more damage, and the taunt actually turns into basically nothing. Faker just lets it go immediately, walks away.
Yep, it looks like they canceled the call for the 2v2 there. They have enough respect for the Sejuani, especially post-level 6 here, and the Ryze duo. Definitely fearsome. Bottom lane getting pushed in by RNG. Means that Uzi as well can roam.
We talked about that extended laning phase dream. It's kind of happening in the bot side. There's been no backs. There's no one-item punishment to match the one-item power trough, going for a pickaxe into a recurve, sitting on a recipe, and also the blasting one. So the longer RNG and SKT stay in parity in bot lane, the more it really does help out the Vayne, who has just now backed for the first time.
One of the biggest, beneficiaries has been this bottom lane because, as you talked about so many times, Papa Smithy, the Galio in the mid lane, such a big facilitator, could be the next straw here that breaks the camel's back and blows open that bottom lane turret. And once that domino falls, that's where you see the lane swaps coming in. But there's so much pressure on mid lane, they haven't found the opportunity.
Here comes the big play, the flash to stun up Faker. The rest of the team not going to come through just yet as the TP does come in for Let Me. Bounce brings him back in. Faker's been stopped. The ulti not quite going to land, but the rest of CC is still going to cut through. Faker running for his life, but no summoners to save him now. The rest of the chase should be just a formality. And Uzi shows up crucially. 4 assists to give the Vayne a kill.
Thank you for the Rage Blade fund. That one is going to come in for Uzi even quicker now as he roams up on the Vayne in time to get the last hit and still back down to the turret in time for the cannon minion.
There's not really any punishment from SKT. They couldn't push the bot lane in fast enough. Camille was pushed in and too early for there to be a Tiamat that's going to be rushing towards the Trinity Force. You notice Blank gets the read very early because you see the duo come in. Blank could jump anywhere. He quickly realizes teleport's coming in. Taric and Vayne are going to win the race to pick him up in the mid lane. It's going to be 5 members and only Faker.
Yeah, the early teleport here from RNG. They know they have the advantage from the top lane because Let Me has quietly been doing his job there on the Maokai and had the teleport advantage. Fully orchestrated and well collapsed there to continue to attack Faker. Going to the source of the global, something we've been saying for 7 years, and is still very much viable.
But notice, we normally talking about Shen with no wave clear. Galio has the wave clear, so tanky. You don't normally see that being a winning style. And the bot lane. The turret's almost down his mid lane.
Looking for winning out into the mid lane, though. The hard CZ going to be landed and chained together. Look at the burst. A crowd on Zhao, who forced to run away. Does get knocked up. Good aim by Faker. The rest of the team coming across. Gets the shield. Tries to one. He will just get out of range. Someone to heal. Buys a bit more time as he looks to turn it back in. But don't know if they have the damage to knock down Faker. MLXG's still in the chase. Pops the Oki for him, but a nice toss by some time. Blank back in. Another shield comes through with the rise. Do you believe he stays alive?
I am thoroughly enjoying these 2v2 spin.
And they're going to knock him down. So you have to believe it. No, they can't quite get the damage. Yes, they do. Will it be another? Not just quite, but the turret turns to the cell division. But can you respect Galio's damage up? But now Wolf, he's hunting. He smells blood in the water. He's okay. Rise gets out. SKT 1 for 0 in that one.
I'm glad we could all enjoy that together as they were fighting down to, double-digit HP there from all sides, and SK Telecom slightly ahead in the execution. Meanwhile, now they can reap the rewards. Invade, get deep wards again, steal away the red, and Wolf even gets some free time to supplement with more wards.
And then switching the battlefield to top side, pushing the Maokai and taking Rift Herald is the next step, but suddenly we got a half step here, guys.
4 versus 2, no turret to hide behind. The TP stop, but it's still 3v2. Turned invulnerable, buys a few seconds, the knockup's there, but Uzi's trying to stay alive. The barrier in, he's still surviving, and now he's turning it around, looking for Blank, looking for the chase down now on the bang. Pop the Yogi stun gonna land. One or dual man, but Faker gonna join, flashes forward. They won't quite catch up Blank, but now it's the Galio's turn to get the damage across. Shields coming in, and they can't find the kill. And Uzi to get his second 5-2 RNG.
And now they can push on this bottom lane turret. They can try and get the objective afterwards. It's RNG making the push.
The fans know it. It's such a big turning point. Let me interrupting the teleport led on to everything that happened there for SKT. Sure, they could have another global, send in the teleport from Faker, but all the damage was not there, and they were not able to cement the kill onto Uzi.
Just like you alluded to last game, Papa Smithy. Let me quietly doing his job in the top lane on that Maokai. Yet, two of the biggest moments in this game enabled by that Maokai.
On paper, perfect move from SKT. Notice Let Me still does not have teleport. Big teleport advantage from Huni, looking to cement the lead, kill off the Vayne, and from there, the damage really fell apart for RNG. But the interrupt was so critical, and then things fell apart very quickly for SKT.
I do want to give a lot of credit to Let Me. Blind picks his champion. No jungle help that I can remember on either side of that lane has been more impactful this game so far.
See the teleport coming in, perfect teleport ward put down from Blank as he bounced over, but just a twisted advance, maybe even a Q. Interrupts here, we'll see it, twisted advance, nice and easy, he was in vision. So Huni could have been more defensive on the teleport, went for an aggressive one, and then it came to this point where they just could not kill Uzi through heal and Barret.
And then they're on the chase. He knows that Blink doesn't have his passive, so Uzi was targeting the closest target there. Once he flashes out, able to kill Bang, and even though Faker arrives and gets that taunt off, not enough burst damage to take down the Vayne.
So one rotation's not going to do it. They go to closest target, they go for this sort of fight they're looking for in the late game. It's focusing down on the front line. And SKT trying to take Rift Herald after all that pandemonium.
Looks like the team actually coming in to try to stop this, so MLXG is showing up, and that will be a reset on Rift Herald. To jump out, looks like actually it might just be a leash from SKT's side. Rage Blade done for Uzi, that's the big spike. Double dagger towards the Shiv or Phantom Dance, whatever he wants to buy for himself next up. But this is now a Vayne who is very much online.
Tristana, whose game plan with these double AD items and the Berserker Greaves is to just take down turrets. The defensive vision is sticking for RNG. They're going to get the Rift Herald as well. And the tempo moves from SKT to justify the draft they've gone for have not happened, just like game one.
Wanted more.
Yeah, exactly. RNG just want to reset there, whereas SKT are trying to delay them because they don't want to let RNG bring all of their power to brunt here on this top side. Zhao is on the bottom side, and they want to use the numbers advantage to grab back some turrets.
Let Me wants to stand there 1v4 and buy some time. Ulti comes across, finds this done, but Let Me lose this life as the Maokai The big AoE slow comes across, doesn't mean all that much. They're still running away. Blank, actually, you gotta be kidding me! Drops down to the turret. I didn't think it was possible, but MLXG finds himself the kill. The re-engage on mid, but I don't think Huni can beat Uzi 1v1.
MLXG threaded the ult onto the Tristana, and once again, no damage from SKT to actually force a kill. They just want the turret, but RNG have bought time, and they're also getting the free farm on Uzi in the mid lane.
A huge lapse in judgment there from Blank. You know, doesn't have the cell division to rely on, no passive available still yet. We're on that cooldown in RNG, even with Xiaohu on bottom side, got a counter kill up on top. Let's take another look at how it started out. Let Me gets annihilated early, but MLXG is here.
The turret is the major objective, but the damage is largely Tristana cannot do anything while stunned. Faker is first tanking up. Another interrupt into the permafrost, threading the CC perfectly. Sometimes we see Sejuani use everything at the same time and lose out on duration and also those passive procs. Very nicely threaded by MLX.
Yeah, on second look there, you know, Blank kind of gets left out to dry as he's stuck under the turret when Faker flashes out, and turret aggro immediately switches over.
Yeah.
And then he gets, you know, victim of Sejuani crowd control combo there.
He did have flash. I agree, like, it's hard to say, it's hard to blame him for it, but either way, doesn't get out, and now Blank found once again, jumps away with a little bit of let's bounce, pops the ulti, looks for the jump away, and is gonna stay to safety, but loses 2 big cooldowns to the privilege.
Just don't control that jungle cleanly, and bot side, we're seeing another aggressive move made.
The forced flash, yeah, Huni was not gonna survive through a twisted advance, and the rest of CC had to use that.
With a drop, with Tristana Galio making a proactive play mid and bot lane at the same time means that SKT have lost all control over both sides of their jungle, and they're going to lose their mid lane turret first as well.
And we've talked so much about timings in Champ Select. This is the timings where RNG are thriving. Their tank line on the 2 tank items feel extremely good. Rise here had such a good early game, already with the Abyssal Mass and now level 11, ready to exert his will. He basically bought time for Uzi to get this Rage Blade on Vayne, and RNG are looking to take advantage of the map.
Even the mindset to make all those plays mid lane, to try to play through the Galio that most teams would look at as a movable wall, is credit to largely Xiaohu and MLXG, who found openings that often are not there against the Galio mid with this Rise especially, and it reset the pressure and means that Faker, he doesn't have a CS lead. He's died multiple times, and when he's made big plays around the map, he's been caught largely. This is not as tanky as he was, hilariously so, in Game 2.
Plus the thought here of RNG, if we talk about the composition and them trying to cover weaknesses, whenever you see 2 carries paired as Rise and Vayne, the initial reaction that Freak is talking about, and the problem with ranges is very much there, especially for those team fights, but layering Taric in there to try and cover that and grant them the immunity to actually use those ranges and get in there could be the opening. That being said, you really have to have a very high level execution to play around the Taric ultimate, and we have seen teams fail at that if that's their main win condition.
Now, Phantom Dancer done. Even easier for Uzi to 1v1. Again, I don't think Huni actually wins the battle if he finds himself in a duel here. You wonder who can actually knock down in this one. 0-0-0 so far, hasn't gotten his way into the game yet. Only 3 kills for SKT. Baron spawning in 12 seconds. They know Taric's a good Baron killer. Vayne is the same boat here. And a slow push Riptail to the top lane. I don't think that Herald's going to die, so that will be top outer dying right as mid falls to the push from Bang. The expected job of that Tristana. Yeah, that will die to a single push, and well, no one's stopping it. Goodbye turret, meanwhile playing the top side, looking for Bang. They root him up to chase 40, blast is safe, but one more shot will do him in. And Xiaohu finds it, Faker, now a missed 4, the push is in. Do they have the damage they need to kill him off? The chase continues in, and he's not gonna be long for the world, and they're invulnerable under the turret. That's gonna be number 3, Cell Division be damned, they will get the damage. You've gotta believe it'll happen, a double kill for the Vayne, for Uzi, 4-0-2.
And again, such intelligent shot calling here from RNG. They know they want to abuse their item power spikes right now, so they drop the Riptail top as a distraction and run straight through mid.
This seems unstoppable now. Who's even going to block this Baron kill? It's Huni on a Camille just running away, taking Krugs as a secondary
Riptail from ages ago. Riptail is actually still alive. They're going to get the big brother of the Baron as well.
Sub 21-minute Baron pickup for almost 5,000 gold lead.
RNG had finished Phantom Dancer, meant they were never going to control waves. They had to choose the right fight. This one was crisp.
Easily able to chase down Bang there. Uzi goes with the ultimate. out of the knockup there for Faker, then re-engages, and they chase SK Telecom back to their own fountain.
And the moment the Bang dies first, you can hold the Cosmic Radiance for the turret dive, because you no longer respect the damage from any source other than the turret. So they hold on to it, they can pick up the Zac through cell division. I love it when a team itemizes for a specific purpose and then executes on it instantly. They could have gone shift, they could have gone into the Hurricane and tried to wave clear. They were not interested in wave clear.
Faker and SK Telecom stopped Uzi in 2013. They stopped them just last year early on in quarters. But this time around, Uzi is coming for that final spot, and they are making a hard push here in game number 3 to make that happen.
It may be a historic matchup, but RNG have never taken 2 games in a best-of-5 over SKT. To go up 2-1 would be history being written.
Well, we've seen the 2-1s be turned back before here at Worlds. You can never count them until they hatch. But RNG hoping to count those chickens all the same, pushing into the mid lane, looking to end it with this Baron push. Sub 23 minutes of stun to the back line, Bang jumping away. The wave's gone in the mid lane, they gotta buy a little bit more time.
During this time, Huni is split pushing for SKT.
They bring in Let Me, he's kidnapped to the back line. No Buster to put him into the fountain, though, buying a bit more. And now onto the turrets a little bit longer. The Cosmic Radiance buys a few more seconds as well. As Faker taking a lot of damage, forced away. Turret number 1 falls. The health bar's getting a bit low, but they've got to respect this. There could be a 5v4 because Camille is still pushing. Huni is still answering the siege from RNG.
Xiaohu brought in the minion wave to try to finish the game, get the turret, because the split push continues. Here's the turn.
The flash re-engage, can they kill Faker because Camille's not stopping. They will knock down the mid lane, unstoppable. Uzi is himself, and Wolf is going to be skinned as well. Here's the teleport now. Huni needs to keep his team alive. 5 versus 3 to win the game, to go up 2-1. Uzi on the fountain, flashing away, getting away from Huni, looking for the damage up, but can they get rid of? Yes, they can. No one left to stop them. RNG are a single game away from making history.
You can see the look